So in this property, there's a lot of damp to the bay in the lower ground floor. There are brown stains. Brown stains come from water passing through building material, particularly over or through timber, such as timber frames of the window. We can see on the outside there's a lot of damage to the outside wall. There are calcium sulfate salts which come from water passing through an impermeable surface such as paint. There's also a lot of condensation dribble marks, and mold on the inside. Mold only comes from excess humidity. In this case, the sofa and the various things held against the wall are causing a form of insulation, stopping heat coming from radiators. So you've got high humidity on the surface, exacerbating the dampness coming from the penetrating dampness coming on the outside. And there's some render cracks like that there. So water can't be absorbed into the wall, but gets absorbed through the render cracks like capillary action. There's heat loss there. So there's a drain, which is good. That seems to be okay. So here we're getting lots of crystallization of calcium sulfate salts under the paintwork or render. That's fine. Some cracking there. That doesn't look so good. So all of this causes some dampness to penetrate inside. Oh yeah. Oh, this is being tanked here. Interesting. See what you're tanking it?
Yeah.
Builder is using Permaseal, a tanking slurry. It's also the slurry that's used for damp proofing treatment. Here I use a damp meter to determine if there's dampness. I'm using a radio wave damp meter here, and also I use a surface damp meter. I look for 999, which shows that it's very damp inside. Below about 300, depending on the meter type, is considered dry. That's supposedly dry there, but down there. That may be past damp proofing treatment that's caused that. See some of my other reports. So here's a thermal image of the front wall. You can see a lot of heat loss. The heat loss is partially caused by the penetrating damp. So elsewhere around the property, there appears to be condensation forming on the solid floor below the timber. Floor overlay, the overlaid floor. There's another floor, and you can see there's woodworm here. I mean, it doesn't really matter because it's only going to affect the local section of floor. It's not structural anyway, but it's a point of interest really. I'll lift this. So I also checked for a mains water leak. Fortunately, you have an analog dial on your water stopcock on the roadside. It's not turning, it's very sensitive. Even a drop of water would show up as a turn on the analog. So a few other things to mention. You've got a risk of penetrating damp to the front steps. It's inevitable that some water is going to find its way through, particularly as the front edge of the step is raised, stopping water from pouring down. You also have gaps and cracks around the masonry outside where water can pour through. There's a particular gap between the brickwork and the front wall on the right hand side. There are also hygroscopic salts that can be seen on the outside. I haven't seen examples on the inside, but you can see them on the outside of the building. Apologies for this graphic, but I wanted to illustrate the vulnerability to condensation that these front bay windows have. Even though there's penetrating damp, the majority of the issue is coming from the inside. You can tell that by the mould and the condensation dribble marks.